What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of work on a 1978 Dodge Lil Red Express. I've been having this truck kind of in the backgrounds over the last, I don't know, 2, 3, 7 videos. Not really sure. I've been getting a lot of questions and kind of comments on what is happening with that. So we are going to go over kind of what's happening with this, and we're actually going to work on a few little things with it. But before we get started, what I want you guys to do, I've got a good buddy local to me. He works on hot rods, builds lots of amazing, cool hot rods. He just started a YouTube channel, and I want to kind of give him a little shout out. It's Winnington Speed and Metal. So if you're watching this, go over to his channel. It's kind of right in here somewhere. Go to his channel, give him a like, give him a subscribe. Let's kind of see if we can double up his subscriptions and kind of keep him involved and entertained in this whole YouTube world, because the YouTube world, it is a big unknown. Speaking of a big unknown, let's feed my algorithm as well. Hit that like, hit that dislike. That's cool too. But most of all, subscribe and share this thing out. So let's go. All right, first things first, kind of a backstory on how I got this truck. Me and a few buddies, we got all the doors open in the shop. It's probably, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening, having a few, cooler snacks. And this guy shows up at the house and starts talking about projects. And you get a few of those once or twice a week. And well, everybody has a project, and everybody seems to have something that is about to be done or they're about to start. So entertained us a little bit, offered him some of the old cooler snacks, and we sat there having a good time for the next couple hours. Well, fast forward to about a month ago, I got the opportunity to go out and actually see the truck. And well, it's exactly what he said it was. He said, well, he's got everything. It just pretty much needs to be put back together. There were a few unknowns to me, meaning everything about the truck. So went over to the guy's house, spent a few hours trying to figure out, do I want to take this project on? And in the end, I did. And this is where we're at. So, where are we at? Let me get you guys turned around, and I'll show you exactly where we are. All right, so for starters, the truck has been completely worked. I'm talking underneath, inside, outside, reverse side, whatever side you want to look at. The whole truck is complete as far as paint, bodywork. I don't have to touch any of that. As far as parts goes, pretty much everything in here has a brand new part as well. So, A+ for me, just pretty much got to put it back together. The engine, supposedly for the last about 3 years, it has been rebuilt, but it's been sitting, okay? What I mean by sitting is, well, in Pennsylvania, it gets cold. So if you sit these in shops and you don't, put coolant in it or put some sort of winterizer in it, well, blocks tend to want to expand and contract, okay, when it gets cold. So when I first went and looked at it, I'm not going to say every, let me back up. We're going to get you in there. Yep, you can see them. There's one there. One back kind of in there. 4 out of the 6 freeze plugs were sitting on the ground. And the previous guy that had been working on this wanted to save a few extra dollars. And instead of putting actually, coolant in the system, he threw water in the system and basically wanted to save a few dollars while he was trying to get everything burped out of it and check for leaks. Well, one thing led to another, and never drained the water out of this. And for 2 years, it has been sitting with water in it until the freeze plugs popped out. Now, they ain't freeze plugs, right? They're not meant to really pop out. They do. They pop out once the block kind of gets cold or frozen. However, those holes are actually for when they were manufactured, the sand for the casting. There's holes there so they can clean that sand out. They put some plugs in there, and we call them freeze plugs, all right? They're not meant to pop out, okay? They're not even really meant to, the block's not meant to freeze, but this one did. So this is where I'm at today, is I need to figure out how to get this thing running. Before I put anything else back together on this truck, I need to figure out, does this thing run, and is the old heart in there even worth, is it even running? Because if that's not running, getting the rest of this stuff put back together right now may be on hold. Inside, beautiful. Okay, like I said, all new parts here, dash parts, anything you can think of for this truck, it has been bought. Any type of maintenance or any type of fab work that needed to be done has already been done. Got 0 complaints with the truck. Now, where I'm at is trying to figure out, I need to start from square one, because I haven't had my eyes or hands or any part of my body on this truck yet. So I like to start with wiring. Let's just see if, do we even have a good battery? Is the stuff hooked up, to the key? Kind of turn the key on. We need to go from there. So I need to sit back. I had to look at all the wiring, kind of go through the schematics and make sure everything was first plumbed correctly and wired correctly because, well, I don't need no fires in here. Okay. And the way I do that was, hook a battery up, see if we have any smokage. Check. No smokage. Second, I need to go over there and see the key. Turn the key forward and see if then we have smokage, right? Check. No smokage. However, now I've already kind of had my eyes on this prior to this video. And the coil here, okay? Check the wiring on the coil. There was an extra positive and negative. Don't know why it was going to it. Kind of traced it back. It went to the fuel injection and it went to the CD box or MSD box or whatever you want to call it. I call it a CD box. It's a capacitive discharge. Basically, it just sends good spark and then takes spark away when it's not needed. Now, if wired correctly, I can have this thing on all day long, right? Nothing should happen. If wired incorrectly, which this was, I may have overlooked that. Well, this will happen. This here is the coil, the one that was in there. It decided it wanted to just burst. So I was checking a few other things with the key on, and I don't know, probably 4 minutes into it, me, the shop, the windows, the car, the truck, the floor, everything just decided to encase itself in, coil juice. So went back to the drawing board and started there. So that's where I'm at currently right here. I got a new coil. Also to mention, this one was turned a little sideways. So you really don't want to have those turned sideways. Well, I went ahead and hard mounted it, put a new coil in there, took the extra positive to the EFI off of there, allowed basically that box to power up and do its own thing versus going box, coil, EFI, coil, and them to fight each other, which is what it was doing. This was sensing more volts than it should be. The ground wasn't strong enough, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. The juices inside of here, the oils and the coil inside of there got too hot and basically just popped and stopped. So, lesson learned. What I did, I have paused everything and went back and double checked and triple checked every single wire going to this. Now we're good to go. It did need a fuel pump. Fuel pump, I don't know, has never been ran. This guy has never heard this truck running, and the mechanics before and whoever else had it before could never get it running either. And after a few wiring issues, I think I got it figured out why. Well, the fuel pump was incorrectly wired. So we got that. Once I corrected the wiring on that, well, the pump just didn't want to work. So I bought a new pump, put the new pump in. Now I've got fuel to the EFI. There was, like I said, problems with the coil. There was a little couple problems wiring up the ignition box. And a few of the grounds weren't grounding like they were supposed to. And it's just slapped right over paint. I thought torquing it down is going to really get it. But when you check continuity through it, there was actually nothing drawing on those grounds. So now my concern is getting this thing started, and did we do any internal? Externally, I put coolant in there. I allowed it to kind of burp itself out. That's kind of why it's up on the jack stands. It's up in the air trying to get it to burp. Got it to burp a couple times. And externally, we have no leaks. Meaning, freeze plugs are good. No cracks in the block in the bottom half. And, fluid seems to be pumping pretty well through there. Now, this is where I'm at right now. Let me show you. So pretty much all I've done to this point, got all the juices. I have fired it off, occasionally time. Haven't really, it's got up the temperature to get this to burp out, but haven't really ran it for long periods of time. So that is where we are at right now. I want to get it keyed on. Oh yeah, here's the other wire. And this needs to go to a keyed switch right now. It's just a hot, so I can check everything because, that's just the way I'm doing it. Where are we at? What did I just say? We're at starting it and kind of letting it get up to temperature because I want to check oil. I want to check coolant. I want to make sure none of that kind of stuff is mixing in between, so all the unknowns. And right now, do I have? Yep, got my jumper pack on. And now she should. Oh, Pump. Well, should be starting up. However, did not see any oil pressure on there. Was getting oil pressure before. Oh, there it goes. All right, building oil pressure, but like I'm not getting good gas. But I have just jacked it up to kind of burp the system. So I'm wondering if let me get her back down. Maybe everything's slop. I only probably got a gallon or 2 gallons of gas in this, so everything might be pushing back to the back of the tank. Let's get everything kind of back forward. Which their sump also. Ugh. Let's see. Oh, there you go. It's kind of in the middle of the tank. I don't know why they would have put it in the middle. To me, if you're, gassing it and everything, I'd put everything towards the back, but that's just me. Anyways, let's see. Well. All right. 40 pounds of pressure. There's not very much fuel in there. All right, so we've got it running. So we are about 17 steps ahead of what the last guy had it doing and kind of ahead of what the owner has. So he's never heard it ran. I've never heard it ran. Well, I've heard it run, not ran. I heard it run kind of before this video, but we've got it going. Now what I want to do is kind of get up to operating temperature, kind of give it a few wide open throttles. Well, not wide open, just a half throttle, something. Kind of get everything kind of going through there and kind of check the oil on this stuff. Let's do that. It is actually getting pretty hot. I only had it on for maybe, I don't know, 3 minutes. Current temp is about 50, but it's steadily climbing. Heat around here ain't too bad. Everything up in here is very hot. Very, very hot. So. Kind of waiting to see if this guy, they got that set up on a 180 or 190. You have a leak there. Now it is smoking pretty good. That's all the excess fluid that was around. Fan still hasn't kicked on. But it looks, oh, it must be from here. It might still need a little burpage. Because we run a little hot. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. It's almost, well, we just hit 180. The fan's at 180. I'm not sure yet. Maybe they got it set to 190, 185. But the heat coming from here is way hotter than that 180, I would assume. Like it's almost like it's not circulating like it's supposed to. So let me go ahead and get this shut down, and we're gonna pull the oil, kind of check the plugs. We got a little pressure. But. All right. Yeah, once again, don't mind all the smokage. That's just did flow over a little bit. I was servicing it, and I haven't got it all burnt off yet. But I got a little bit of white fluid on there. Let's it's getting really hot. I'm gonna go ahead and get under there. I'm gonna pull the oil plug, kind of get that old oil out of there and see if we have anything kind of mixing internally. Let's go. All right, got the old. Yes, I know I could be using a 1/2 inch, but well, the adjustable's right here, and that's why I'm using it. So my concern is there's a little bit of white on the bottom, like almost like it's mixing with some coolant or something, and hopefully, and well, as I'm just cracking this, you can kind of see a little bit's coming out of the drain plug. So hopefully not too bad. We'll see. Let me go ahead and get it complete out, and we'll go from there. Well, it's definitely not supposed to look like that at all. So, yep, yep, that's definitely that's not okay. Yep, that's not supposed to look like that at all. I got some in my nose. Yeah. Hmm. All right. Here's what I think is going to have to happen. This thing's only supposed to be holding 5 quarts of oil, and my concern is I just dumped. That is 12 quart. So this thing was either way over serviced or it's dumping a lot of coolant. However, the coolant's not dropped at all. So now I'm thinking, did somebody over service it? Um, the guy did say this was just kind of a. Oh man, I'm just kind of pulling on my butt right now. Hopefully, because I don't want this to be bad. Said that was the wrong dipstick. So I wonder if somebody put double the oil in it, and it's. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and drain this, or it's already drained, whatever. I have a little plan. I think I'm gonna run. I've got some recycler. I'm gonna run that through here. I'm gonna run probably 3 or 4 cycles of oil through this and see if that kind of clears up. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping it has just been sitting for so long that there was condensation or it was over serviced and it's causing kind of vapors in there to turn into condensation and stuff like that because it's too high up in the pan and in the block. So I'm grabbing every scenario I can right now to make sure it isn't internally cracked or broke or busted or whatever. So let me go ahead and cycle about 3, maybe 15 quarts. So 3 times, just kind of run it to temp, pull it, drain it, kind of do that, and we'll kind of see where we go. Fingers crossed, because we're going to need this one. All right, this is the last round of oil going. I don't know if you guys just saw that or captured it, but water just, well, condensation, which is water, same thing. Just kind of came out of the top of that. And well, still got white up top. So this is going to be the last round of oil going into it. We're still going to keep praying and fingers crossing that this that the reality hasn't set in. That's all it is. That's all this is. So 5 more quarts, get up to temp. I think what I want to do before this one too, the last thing is see if I can't bleed the rest of the air out of this system, because it's still, I think it needs another burp or even 2, because you shouldn't be running that hot. Or it's still running that hot because, well, internally it's cracked and all those fluids, the water and coolant is going all through the parts of the motor where it's not supposed to be and getting it extra hot. So I might just want to stop after this go also, because those are brand new heads, intake, everything else. Right now it could just be the block. If I keep going, cracking a head or doing anything like that, it may not be ideal. I say may not. Actually, it isn't. That's the truth. It's not really ideal. So all right, drain number 3. Let's see if I can get you guys with me. A little tight. All right, you guys are gonna see it with me. Oh, it's still hot under here. I should let that cool off. Hey, look, I found the 1/2-inch wrench. I got tired of using the adjustable. Come on, baby. Now, the other 2, it kind of cleared up a little bit. What I mean by a little bit is, I don't think it's gonna work. So, ooh, still coming out white, but coming out more fluid. Like the other one was more like a paint. It was thick, really, really thick. Back a bit. That stuff feels hot. In there. Well, that is actually the cleanest I've seen this oil. It isn't as frothy, and it's only taken that 5 quarts out. The last couple times, well, actually the first time and second time, more seemed to be coming out than normal. But once again, my coolant level wasn't dropping. I might actually pump it through one more time. All right, I'm truly not sure if it's getting any better. I think it's about the same, to be honest with you. The heat has calmed down. However, fans are on, so it's not, all the heat's not isolated here as much. Still lots of excess heat. I've even started to feel it through the fenders and in the transmission tunnel. I did notice the fan actually decided to get that light out. It kicked on at 190. However, I don't think this is controlling the fan. And if you see my temp, that fan's been on since I started it, and it's steadily climbing. So I don't think we're cooling at all, even with the fan. Even if I got this thing running down the road at 30, 40 miles an hour, I think because this is still climbing, fans on and everything, we're still having internal coolant problems. So we'll verify it here in a second. Let me get it turned off, and we'll do another oil pull and kind of see what's going on with it. Actually, let's keep that fan on. I'll let it cool down a little bit more. Still extremely hot under here, but we'll just try not to burn ourselves. Use a rag instead. Well, this is the first pull I've seen where actually just oil. Well, let me think about that. It's not white. I don't know if you see it dripping. Right now, it's actually dripping oil. Or that's just straight coolant. Yeah, it's got to have some oil in it. Yeah. Just kind of tampering this thing because I don't want the plug just to come flying off and all that hot oil all over my hand. Come on, baby. Ooh, actually, it's not as hot as I thought it would be. Oh, it's actually dripping oil. Look at that. Hey. Look at that. Whew. All right, definitely happier with that because there's not a, so far, not even a drop of antifreeze in there or water or whatever was in there before. So I'm wondering if it just took that many times to, because it did get progressively better. The heat behind here is not getting, well, let me get that, let me back up. That's getting a little bit better, but it's not where I want it to be by no means. We're still sitting with everything off 194, so it should have came down a little bit. But I think now there might be time just to put a final oil change in this and then just maybe get it to burp one more time. I think maybe it's just got some coolant problems in the back half or something. But it ain't white no more. So that is a plus. All right, we're back. And no, it's not another day. Yes, it is a different shirt because, well, it is hot in here. Okay, really, really hot. And, well, it was time to change the other shirt. Here's where I'm at. I did not go ahead and do a final. I know just a second ago I said, let me just, top it back off. We'll call it good. But that was eating on my brain. So I said, we're going to flush it one more time. Then we'll do the final top off of the good oil. So 25 quarts, flushed it one more time, put its final in there. I just started it up, let it run for about 15 minutes. And, well, I think we're good. So what I did, I went ahead and rehooked up the heater core. I think that was kind of one of my issues. This was bypassing here. The guy had it bypassed. I think it was pinching off there. It wasn't getting the good circulation. Got the heater core basically reintroduced to this. It did burp one more time. I got it up and I basically jacked up the passenger side to kind of get that motor to turn a little bit to see if I can get the air bubble out. It burped one more good time. I think that was his last burp. I'm not really positive. Now, quick theory on what I think may have caused some of this stuff, right? Maybe. In my head, this is my own brain thing. Y'all can, self-diagnose it yourself or bleep it, whatever down there in the comments and let me know also. I think it was over-serviced. That's one thing, it was over-serviced. Also, I talked to the guy. He said it had been rebuilt and had never been started since then, right? They tried cranking it, couldn't get it to start. So in my head, they could have a little bit of preservative oil left in there also. Somebody thought, hey, I'm going to add 6-7 quarts in there, whatever they think it was back in the day, which only calls for 5. And they over-serviced it. Well, over-servicing could have been frothy, right? When you over-service something way too much, which I think this was, it filled up a whole 12 quarts, okay? My whole 12-quart bin. It got frothy. It got real frothy, and everything really wasn't lubricating the way it was. When it was pulled out, it just had churned so much that that's what the white was, all them air bubbles. I'm hoping, I'm thinking, I don't know 100%, but that's my theory. I think it was over-serviced. Did it have a little bit of water in it from sitting 2 years and it's getting cold and warm, cold and warm? Heck yeah, probably. So that could add to it. So there's 3 things that could have probably happened to it, meaning preservative oil, sitting too long and getting condensation built up in there, and some water sitting on top of the oil, and it being over-serviced. So that's it. That's my theory on it. Temp gauge is working now. Oil, come on, baby. There it goes, coming back up. It was sitting between like 30 and 40. Yep. So we got good oil pressure. And fans are kicking on like where they're supposed to. I would at least hoping for about 180. Once again, I don't think it's registering on this to kick on at 180. I think it's got its own thermostat, which actually looks like it goes right there. Anyway, fans are kicking on. All my lines are, they're not crazy hot. I don't want to keep my hand on it, but I can keep my hand on it. Radiator is not too bad to touch. It's dusty. Before I was getting lots of heat in here on both sides, almost where it was like not unbearable, but we're going to call it unbearable. So, seems like air is moving. Seems like coolant's flushing. Yeah. And on here, it's reading about 208 right now, and that's, well, I had it off. It seems to come down after it's running for a little bit, and then fans are kind of pulling all that heat out of there. So, I'm going to say I'm good with this, okay? I checked the dipstick. Actually, I'll show you guys. Pull the dipstick. Let's just bring it out here. Nothing on it. Now, before, this thing was completely coated. Almost looks like white Sherwin-Williams paint, okay? Now, we got nothing. I took one more quick little sample out of the oil pan just to see what would drip out there. When I say a sample, I mean, I cracked it a little bit and just to see if it was straight oil out of there, and it did. Straight oil out. So, no coolant leaks, no fuel leaks. Seems like the oil's doing what it's supposed to. Oh, here we go. And we're back at 40. So, let me get that fan on. Trying to get that air moving. So, not what I was expecting for today's work. I was hoping maybe to get this thing cracked off, saying it's running, it's good to go, and start putting everything back together. I.e. finishing up the wiring, making sure everything's good to go, getting the bumpers, grills, all that kind of stuff, interior put back in it, and kind of wrap this up for, a week's worth of video in one. However, that engine really messed with me. So I'm going to end it here. I'm going to say that's it. That's a wrap for today's video. But if you've made it this far, you've watched it all the way through, don't forget to subscribe, share, like. Hell, you can dislike if you'd like to also. But don't forget also, go check out Winnington Speed and Metal. Yeah. Winnington Speed and Metal. I want to put those together. Like I said, he's starting off a YouTube channel. He's located here. Hot Rod Builder. Way cool guy. So go give him some love. If you don't like his stuff, that's cool. Move on to the next one or whatever. But go check him out. Thanks a lot, guys, for sticking around to the end. We will see you guys next time.